All right, back again. Bike number 3. This is another giant TCR Advanced. This is actually my mountain bike. And I'll show you in a minute why. So like I said, the Cervelo was out of the office here. The other giant was unrideable because of the fork and the headset. So again, I was up to 2 bikes and back down to 0. So I said, let me just get another inexpensive bike, and found this at a local bike shop in San Diego, and they were just basically giving the thing away. So I got an unbelievable price on this. They had 2 left. They own, I think, about 4 or 5 stores. They had 2 of these 56s left. And this is the current year, not the 18. This is the disc brake bike, Ultegra equipped. So what did I change? Again, the things I changed, took the giant saddle off and put a better saddle on, which is the Bontrager Montrose. It's very similar to the Specialized Roman. Again, Q-rings. I have a 5234. Notice position 4. If you do get rotor rings, or you do want rotor rings, I highly recommend you figure out, or you get figured out, where your OCP is. You really need to know, are you a position 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? And it does make a huge difference from the point of they either work or they don't work. You have to get that exactly right. Most people don't, and the ones that don't say rotor rings are horrible. Well, they're not geared, they're not selected, they're not indexed for that person. I got a friend, I set him up, he was at position 2. Another guy set up, most people are 3s. There's at least 3 of us running down here on position 4. It does make a big difference. So if you want to get rotor rings, the Q rings, get them indexed, and we can do that over here. The other thing I changed, again, another Ultegra GS, and this is my mountain bike, 1136. Makes the hills really easy. And this bike, another bike that just rides like it's on rails. Compared to the Trek Imonda, the Imonda was, it handled good. If the Imonda handles good, this one handles great. This one, the Imonda, you had to kind of watch going down some steep. There's a couple hills that are about 14.5% up and 14.5% down, and they're S-curves all the way down. And the Imonda, you had to really kind of watch it. I never really trusted the thing to go open, just let the brakes off. This one you can. This one, just unbelievable handling bike. They got it everything right is with this bike. They got it right. So people ask me about disc brakes. Do you like them? Do you recommend them? I like them for the hills. I do a lot of hill workouts, and they just give you an extra sense of security coming down hills. And again, you're coming down a 14-15% grade hill. You want good brakes. The other advantage of disc brakes are you don't run the calipers, the regular standard brake calipers with the brake pads on the rims. You're running them on the disc brake rotors. So the wheels last a lot longer because you're not clamping on the wheels. So that's a big difference. It's a big thing to consider depending on how you're riding. They've got it dialed in now on the disc brakes and the front fork. What does that mean? I did test ride some of the first bikes that came out with disc brakes. The manufacturers just threw on a regular fork and put some mounts on a regular caliper type fork. And what would happen is when you had basically your lever arm on the calipers are here. So basically from here to here is the lever arm. So it didn't really put a flex on the fork. If you ran a fork, a regular caliper type fork with the disc brake down here, now where's the lever arm? Well, lever arm is from here where it's clamping, all the way up to here. So now you got a lever arm this long instead of this long. So the first disc brake bikes, the forks, if you ran the front brake pretty hard, the whole fork blades would just swing back like this. When you clamped on the front brake, they would just come out underneath you. Well, they finally fixed all of that. Manufacturers are coming out with disc brake specific forks now. So don't worry about disc brakes and the bikes and the handling. They handle just fine now. They work just fine. The brakes work fine. They got it all figured out. So get one of the newer ones, 16, 17, 18, and you'll be happy. I'm also doing a little test for Aerofly. That guy right there, believe it or not, is a power meter. Been testing that for a couple rides. It just came in, and it shows some promise. It's going to be about under $250 for a power meter. There's going to be there's going to be two options. There's going to be one that's about like $299. That's going to have the heart rate strap and some other stuff with it, where this one is basically just the power meter. Takes the tire pressure, works off of the tire pressure and how much pressure, and there's a whole bunch of formulas that actually go into that thing. It's a little tiny small battery, little computer in there. There is a head unit that you can get as an option that works with it, and they do have, again, a website like most of the other companies that you can upload your ride file, and it'll analyze and evaluate everything for you. So there is a new giant TCR Advanced. The other thing I like about the bike is the paint job. You can see it, or the cars can see you, I should say. I really like the bike. I like the two giants I have. This one is a little heavier than the other one. For rideability, the first one you saw is lighter, a little more responsive, but there's nothing wrong with this one either. If you do go to the SL version, Advanced SL, these bikes, I think full retail, this version is about $2,400 with Ultegra. If you go to the SL, which is the super light frame, you're talking about another almost double the price for just a little bit lighter frame. So this is good enough. Just put an extra gear on and you go just as fast as the SL bike. So instead of a 27 or 28, go 32, and you'll be just as fast as the SL guy up the hill. So bike number 2.